Welcome to another Lions and Tigers video. This is your assignment for the week. What organization structure would you recommend for Lions and Tigers and why? That's going to all be addressed in the discussion board. So just post your comments there and I will be monitoring the discussion. And then 2, we are in the 3rd week of our case problem, and let's go ahead and do all 3 financial statements. So here's the trial balance from last week, and everything balances. So now we are going to take this information and we are going to copy it and compile it, I should say, in the financial statements. Notice that all of your assets are together. Notice your liabilities are together. Your stock or your equity is all together, but notice we also break equity up between revenue and our expenses or our net income. So really we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. So the first financial statement that you are asked to do, of course, is the income statement. Now I know in this chapter we're getting involved in income statements, but this is a pretty small company, so we don't really have quite as much room to move. But here's our revenues. Now we would list each revenue that we have, but in this company we only have one. So we're going to say 1,032, and our subtotal or our total revenue is going to be 1,032. And we got that straight from the trial balance. Then we're going to list our expenses, and on the trial balance you'll notice rent expense was $500, salary expense was $125, and cleaning expense was $350. If I add all those numbers together, I get 975. So 1,032 minus 975 gives me net income of $57. Now once again, this information is all copied straight from the trial balance. So we only need one piece of paper in front of us. We don't need to have all the journal pages, the ledger pages. This is what we're going to prepare off of. The second statement we do in the sequence is we do our retained earnings statement. Notice the date range is for the month ended. Now this was the first month of the company, so the beginning retained earnings would have been for November 1st, 2010, and the answer here would have been 0. We had 0 retained earnings. The net income reported for November 2010 was 57. Notice this number goes right there. Less our dividends. In this problem we didn't have any, so our ending retained earnings equals our net income in this case. So this is November 30th, 2010. So our retained earnings is $57. Now we're going to go on to our balance sheet. Now on our balance sheet we're going to start at the top of the trial balance, and we're going to say current assets $16,525, $16,525. Accounts receivable was $232. Grooming supplies was $1,000, and prepaid rent was $1,000. Now notice I have this total here for current assets. If we total up our current assets, we're going to get $18,757. And really we could have put these over here. We want to know current because we want to make sure that we have enough current assets to pay our current liabilities. Long-term assets and liabilities have different relationships with each other. The only non-current asset we have is property, plant, and equipment, so that's going to be $5,300. We don't need a subtotal because there's only one. That gives me total assets of $24,057. Okay? Remember, you guys can pause these videos at any time. Now we're going to go on to our liabilities. Now the only current liability we had is accounts payable. You wouldn't have needed to subtotal that, but I would like to show you how that should look. The only long-term debt we have is a notes payable of $3,500. 500 plus 3,500 gives me total liabilities of $4,000. Now we have capital stock of $20,000 and then retained earnings. Now this is where students often get in trouble. The retained earnings number that you use all the way down here, keep this line going because it's a long one, needs to be the number from the retained earnings statement. So this has to be 57. This has to be $57. It's really important that we get that from the retained earnings statement. We add the two together, we get $20,057 plus my liabilities of $4,000 gives me total liabilities and stockholders' equity of $24,057. You'll notice that that's the same number that we have here. So it's really important that these balance. That is one reason why it's called a balance sheet. Thank you for coming and viewing my video, and let me know if you have any other questions.